proposal to stop members of Congress from buying stocks is moving forward. It cleared the House and it now goes to the Senate. It's the first time this specific proposal has ever passed a chamber of Congress. It also requires lawmakers to say they're going to sell a stock a week before actually doing it. Some version of this proposal has been discussed for decades, but right now there seems to have been some real juice behind it. More members of Congress, plus everyday Americans, are supporting the idea that people in politics shouldn't be able to use their office to get rich. And that got us thinking, how much money are members of Congress from North Carolina making off of stocks? WRAL state government reporter Caroline Jaffa found out.
Half of North Carolina's congressional delegation wouldn't have to do much. 7 have no stocks at all, 4 Republicans and 3 Democrats. The other half does report owning individual stocks. That's 6 Republicans and 1 Democrat. Some have a portfolio worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, while on the other hand, others are in the millions. But owning stocks isn't the same as actively trading them. These 4 lawmakers have made a profit on trading in 2024. Brad Knott made as much as $53,000, and Tim Moore made as much as $343,000. Mark Harris and Virginia Fox are somewhere in the middle, but the weird part is all 4 of them voted to restrict stock trading. So we asked them, why did they vote for this, and will they continue to trade stocks? We haven't heard back.
This feeds into the general skepticism and cynicism that people have about politicians, that they are taking advantage of the public, they are using their public office to benefit themselves rather than their constituents.
North Carolina Congressman Greg Murphy is among those who do not trade. He put it this way, quote, members and their families should not use the office for financial gain. We must root out perceptions of corruption to preserve faith in our federal government. North Carolina's 2 U.S. Senate candidates have also weighed in.
It leads to corruption, and it has to stop.
I strongly support the stock trading ban. I think it's absolutely essential.
The bill still has to clear the U.S. Senate. We'll continue to monitor the developments. Caroline Jaffa, WRAL News, Raleigh.
It's interesting, right? So let's take a closer look here at the Stop Insider Trading Act. That's what it's called. It's an idea that you probably agree with, right? Stop insider trading. The thing is, insider trading is already illegal for everyone, including lawmakers. In 2012, Congress passed the Stock Act. It blocks lawmakers from using non-public information for personal financial benefit. It also requires members of Congress to publicly report any stock dealings within 45 days. It took 6 years to get that bill over the finish line. And in that time, banning Congress from buying stocks outright was part of the debate. It just wasn't in that final version that passed. So really, the Stop Insider Trading Act is kind of a bad name when you think about it, right? It's about stopping lawmakers from buying stocks entirely, insider info or not. But if this has been part of the conversation for 20 years, why is it only passing the House now? Well, a few things. The first answer centers around day-to-day politics. They just couldn't agree on the specific language, right? What happens to stocks that lawmakers already own? Should they have to sell that off? And what about their family members? Should that ban apply to them too? How about the president, the vice president? The current proposal doesn't include them in the ban. But should it? There are a bunch of little debates within the big one. In 2022, the Ethics Reform Act called for big changes across government. It banned members of Congress from buying or selling stocks. It blocked former lawmakers from certain lobbying activities. It required the IRS to share the tax information for presidential and vice presidential candidates. The question wasn't just should members of Congress be able to buy stocks. There was so much more that went into it. And the Ethics Reform Act never made it out of committee. Sometimes the stocks part gets squeezed into a bill that has tons of totally different policy inside of it. And that's what's happening right now. Republicans tied the stock ban to a bill about voter ID, something that Democrats have long opposed. So why is it all getting lumped together? Well, the answer is politics.
The Democrats are going to argue, well, I'm really for the stock trading ban. In fact, most Democrats are for an even more vigorous version of it, a harder version of it, but voted against it, not because they opposed the ban on stock trading, but because of the voter ID stuff. But negative attack commercials during the campaign aren't going to go through that nuance. They're just going to say so-and-so voted against stock trading bans.
And then there's also the human element to this. You're asking members of Congress to sign off on rules that limit how much money they can make. You know, think about that. That'd be like if I let my kids decide when bedtime is. Or more like telling your boss to hold off on giving you that raise. No, don't worry about it. Not this time. Decision making gets messy when your bottom line is on the line. So what should Congress do?